So I don't know how much y'all have to share about this. Really, probably not much from you. With speaking on what you said when we first got here, but you didn't think he was a good singer. Now, R. Kelly.
No. I didn't say he was. I didn't say he was a bad singer. I'm just not really into the music scene.
Oh, okay, well, that's fair. Unless
I'm
it's the
just
Beatles.
not. I'm just not. Unless it's the Beatles
Or Sir John.
U2 or Elton John.
Yeah.
Different time, different.
Hey, we've all been wrong before. But anywho, the verdict came down on R. Kelly that he was guilty on all counts in this sex trafficking that took place. Now, he has always been on the radar since back in like 2000 or so, with this guy having dated Aaliyah, who was an underage singer back at the time. But apparently her parents put her out there and allowed the interaction between the two. And it was always rumored, never really confirmed, from what I can understand with it. So he's had the behavior that was much like Hugh Hefner. Bringing people to your house, letting them stay over. These women, they come, they go, they whatever. And that's kind of how it went down. So this other element of trafficking these women, I think is what got this guy in trouble, because they were being used, I guess, for sex.
And they were underage?
Well, no, some of these are grown women. Now, okay. I think some of them started, I think there were some cases of them being, some of them being underage.
Okay, I'm not condoning what he done.
Right.
But let me ask you a question. What makes the difference between consensual and trafficking?
Well, trafficking, of course, is against your will. Typically, it's against your will. And some of these folks are, and of course, consensual. You say, "Oh yeah, I'm just going to go and do it."
But how?
How do you separate the two, or how do you determine
how can you prove that in a court of law?
Right. That's the thing. Well, I think there was tons of evidence against him on how things were handled.
I mean, quite honestly, not that I'd want to get involved, but I mean, the way things are today, I mean, it's. I think dating is so difficult, to be perfectly honest, for
it is. The
age group, for the younger generation. And I just think you've got to be so careful.
I don't think so.
You have to just go into it knowing what your outcome.
But how do you know in 10 years' time that you...
Look, it's
you gotta have a conversation.
If the person, instead of sex, just say, "Do you want a cup of tea?" Right? It's not hard. Do you want a cup of tea? Yes, no? Okay. You know your answer. There's no like, I'm not sure. Like, you know when you're doing something that's not consensual and
right.
It's not hard. Now, if you're a piece of crap, it's very easy to abuse that. But a lot of guys are not raised to realize that there's a lot of pressure that women feel when they're put in a situation like that. And guys specifically will ask over and over and over and over. And there's a lot of gay people who say that they realize this with males as well, is that they will constantly ask you, even after saying no, they'll still ask. A lot of guys don't like to get shut down.
Right.
So I don't think it's as hard as people let on, because I don't think people shut down guys enough, because guys know that they can do whatever they want. They're stronger. They whatever. The list goes on and on. But it's not hard to pick up when someone isn't consenting. It's right. Very, very simple, actually. And I don't have a doubt in my head from like any of the past relationships I've been with or been in that none of those women consented to like anything we had going on between. It's very simple. Now, a lot of my friends, I hear stories, and not to like point the light in a certain group of people, but like Greek life, very, very prominent for like this type of stuff to happen in Greek life, because it's a lot of, you feed off the energy of the people. So if you see your friend is doing it, there's a higher % chance that you are going to do the same thing, because you're in your head, you're okay with it.
Okay, one of the things that I'm just going back to when I was dating, okay, I was obviously working Olympics, known, you know, in the local media, okay, when I was dating some of them girls that I decided, you know what, we need to just leave it there. They were very, very bitter.
Oh yeah.
When I decided that, you know what, no more. And I often wonder at times how they would react if that was now, because it's a different time, completely different, you know, scene, if you want to. And that's what my concern is, because no disrespect to any of the girls that I dated, because I dated some really nice girls, but the truth of the matter is, I mean, they could have, at the time, if they'd made allegations, and I don't believe I'd ever done anything like that, and put people under pressure, that because of the circumstances of myself, which is a relatively poor family, relying on some government programs to pay for the sports, but I know that the National Skating Association, if anything was pointed that way, would have cut me out completely right, from any future assistance.
Well, to your point, I think we live in a day and age now to where, unfortunately, if a woman comes out and says this happened, it happened, and you know, you kind of take the word of whoever the accuser is, sometimes without there not being.
No, that's actually where evidence. I was going with this, because it's like you are guilty until you're proven innocent.
And quite frankly, even if you're proven innocent, that mark is still out there.
It's still out there with you.
So it's like, you know, well, he's the one that was accused of blah blah blah. Yeah, he was accused, but he didn't do anything. It was found out he didn't do anything. And I've even heard cases where a plaintiff has recanted their story. Oh, okay, well, he didn't rape me, or he didn't assault me, or whatever. And I don't think that's cool. I think that's if you put that out there,
that should be criminal.
So that should be a criminal offense, man. Don't accuse me of this and I didn't do that.
If he comes back and bite you,
yeah, it's like that's not cool. That's not cool at all. So I don't know. It's a tough. You don't want to not believe someone.
Do you know the answer of the problem?
What?
Go to church.
Hey, might not be wrong, or at least find a relationship
because
with somebody.
When I first got here, that's what they told me to do. When I got here single, they said, you know what, go to church, get into a singles group.
Find you a woman.
Absolutely. They told me.
But with this R. Kelly thing, I know how weird this dude is. I've seen firsthand. I have literally seen firsthand. Like, the girl was in front of me and he was on the phone. How this dude talks to girls, it's insanely weird. Now, granted, the environment that they met in might induce that type of behavior.
Right.
For example, well, I'll tell you, it was a poker club where all the girls that were serving and like bringing drinks around, they just didn't wear shirts. So you know what I mean? So like,
you know about topless?
Yeah, they're just naked. I mean, they wear underwear, but like, so it's a bunch of rich guys who go there, all in their 50s, and they end up sexually engaging these women too. Like, it's a normal thing. Now, obviously, they get a monetary value out of it, so that's how they go to Greece and all these beautiful countries.
Gotcha.
But aside from the point, he's weird. Like, and I don't know if it's his. Well, it is his fault, but like, there's a lot of other stuff that goes into encouraging that behavior that can be adjusted to stop things like this.
It's much like the Epstein situation, right? You just lure these girls around. You do it because that's what you've been doing. Nobody's called you on it. The people around you encourage it.
Cosby.
It's like nobody says anything about it. So
and now he's out.
Yeah, and like Bill Gates was part of the whole Epstein.
Yeah.
So it's a lot deeper than like we leave it to be.
Exactly. So he's here's what the thing I didn't believe. They don't do sentencing until May the 4th. I thought it was a typo. But this dude has to go back in the clank until May to find out how much more time he's going to get after that. That's a long time. 60, 90 days typically you find that out, but it says May the 4th when they're going to be doing the sentencing on it. So I don't know that
I'd
that's
like to
a
know
normal thing, but
I'd
it's
like to
happening.
know the definition of
Trafficking.
what the difference is between trafficking and.
Well, the trafficking, of course, is for the sale, the commerce.
You know, we hear trafficking all the time, which
Mhm.
involves maybe people perhaps that shouldn't be here that are forced to do stuff.
Right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, that's just essentially.
Or it's like a lot of these trafficking situations end up like, go here and do this, but when you go there and do that, it's not what you
Thought
thought
it was.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's something else.
No, I was just supposed to be here to clean the closet out.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like, oh,
you're gonna clean out a
You're gonna
closet.
clean the
but-
closet, but you're gonna be naked while you do it. Like that's what I'm saying. It's just like
Exactly.
stuff like that.
So that's where we live today, man. Unfortunately.
Do you think people that perhaps have a couple of pennies in their bank are more susceptible to being accused of trafficking?
Possibly.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
I do, you see.
it's like if you're a millionaire and you have like I forgot who I was hearing talk about it. It could be a BS story too, but it's like there's this guy who's talking about he would rather have $100,000 than $600,000 because when he had $100,000 and someone was cleaning his house, the lady would just come in and clean it. But when he had $600,000, the lady would come in and act like she broke her hip or something, and try to get. Now that could be a BS story. I don't know, but I could definitely see that playing out in certain
Yeah, I can see that.
instances, and I think the same could apply for stuff like
Moral of the
this.
stories: don't tell people what you're worth.
There you
And
go.
that is one of the rules of.
That and just make sure whoever you're engaging with on any level of privacy, you trust them. It's not some
Absolutely.
BS.
Don't tell them you drive a Bentley. Keep it hidden.